mid-range warrior, the Realme 8 Pro. During the course of this video, we'll talk mostly about the phone's primary area of focus, its cameras, and in particular, its primary 108 megapixel ISOCELL HM2 sensor that we've previously seen on flagships and more recently on a couple of mid-range devices. We've had the Realme 8 Pro with us for a while now. And over the last few days, we've had the chance to extensively test the cameras of the phone, even compare the results to what looks to be the biggest competition of the device, the Note 10 Pro Max. So let's get started. Talking about the Realme 8 Pro, the lens brings support for ISOCELL plus pixel isolation technology and also offers 9:1 big pixel binning for 108 megapixel shots and improved image quality under low light conditions. This lens is sat next to 3 more cameras, including a 119 ultra wide angle 8 megapixel lens and also a 2 megapixel ultra macro lens and another 2 megapixel black and white lens for helping add details to portrait shots. Honestly, these specs look pretty good on paper, but how do the cameras perform in real life? Well, it's a mixed bag really. To begin with, the primary lens on the Realme 8 Pro performs up to the mark in well-lit situations, with the lens capturing shots with good amount of detail. But at the software side of things, the post-processing ensures that the colors are boosted, but highlights and shadow information is not lost to the eye. While these resultant images are definitely great to look at and also make for good social media shots with vibrant and punchy colors, they still do not end up being shots that are the most color accurate. The phone can also click high-resolution images using the dedicated 108MP mode, which as we found can churn out really nice detailed images. These shots are sharp across the board, with corners not losing details. Taking a deeper look at these shots shows little loss of detail and generally crisp detail to enhance the depth of a frame. The 8 megapixel ultra-wide lens also does a decent job. Detail retention and colors are good in daylight pictures. There's little noise and pictures look sharp. However, these images show some sign of distortion towards the edges. The phone also comes with an ultra macro lens that appears to be there just to make up the numbers. While the lens promises 4cm shooting distance, the images clicked from close-up mostly come out of focus and not particularly great. The level of detail and bokeh effect in ultra macro shots are at best decent and nothing really to talk home about. During our review, we were also impressed by the performance of the camera when it came to portrait shots. Under well-lit situations, portrait mode shots came out with good detail and edge detection. The background blur in these shots is aggressive by default, but can be easily adjusted by toggling the bokeh effect before clicking these shots. Low light performance of the phone is above average at best, with the primary 108 megapixel lens proving to be the best when it comes to clicking shots in low light scenarios. The phone does not manage to capture enough highlights and shadows even at night. Low light performance of the phone is average at best, with the primary 108 megapixel lens proving to be the best when it comes to clicking shots in low light scenarios. The Realme 8 Pro does manage to capture enough highlights and shadows even at night, but does start to lose detail in some areas. Realme's also added a night mode inside the camera software, which works on both the primary and ultra-wide lens. The mode appears to jack up brightness, but not details, which is a clear hint that behind the scenes, night mode on the phone is doing little more than just increasing the exposure. Considering the phone comes with the same lens that's also found on the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max, we also compared the camera results of the Realme 8 Pro to those of the Redmi phone and observed a few interesting things. While both phones captured plenty of details and managed to handle colors well, Realme 8 Pro managed to bring in more detail in shadows and also did not lose out on highlights. Comparing the camera samples, the 108 megapixel mode shots clicked by the Realme 8 Pro also appeared to be just slightly more detailed. However, Note 10 Pro Max appeared to click better low light and definitely much better macro shots. Both phones clicked good portrait shots. However, the Redmi device won the race because of better depth effect. Edge detection was also good on both cameras. To conclude, Realme has done a good job with the Realme 8 Pro's cameras, and overall quad lens setup manages to mostly stay true to the claims made by the company. Yes, there are areas that the camera performance can still be improved in, but for most parts, the cameras on the Realme 8 Pro do live up